empowerment, population and human capital, social structure and identities. For each of these stages of the vision, there are budgets allocated for it. There are budgets allocated for them. We only need to look into what can we champion in this particular vision item. And we will not be talking about lack of finance for the network to function. The second one is on environment and sustainable management. The third one is on democracy and good governance, maintenance of peace and regional security. The fourth one is on economic growth, employment, structural transformation, and private sector development. The fifth one is on economic and monetary integration, economic infrastructure, energy, and partnership. These areas are potential funds. They are potential areas that the network can look into and begin to tap into opportunities. The African Union, continental level as well, develop a roadmap on demographic dividend. And part of your assignment as a network is on demographic dividend. So AU, African Union, has a specialized roadmap for demographic dividend. And what is the objective? They want the roadmap to guide and facilitate implementation by member states, by regional economic communities. That means as countries, at country networks, we can implement this roadmap. At regional level, we can implement this roadmap. The roadmap is this. I will not bore with it, but it's talking. There is a particular area where it's saying on the seventh one from the left, it's saying establishment of national observatories for monitoring demographic dividend. I will explain that to us later on in the presentation. That's the next slide. Under the SWED project, the National Demographic Dividend Observatory, the SWED project pumped in a lot of money at country level to set up this establishment. This, we call it, en français, il s'appelle ONDD. En anglais, National Demographic Dividend Observatory. They are in the countries. Sometimes they are in the National Planning Department, sometimes they are in the Population Department, but they are in the countries. So far, 11 observatories have been set up. They are there to provide information real time as countries are doing regarding demography and demographic dividend. One of the instructions of the World Bank is to link the network, to link it with this group. We have started the discussion at world level so that this network can be linked to this group, since it is SWED that is funding this group, that has bought equipment for this group at country level, that the network should be linked to the group so that when they give information, the network can use that information to create advocacy, both at the country level and at the national level. These things that they are written here are the activities that the network and that the national observatories have done so far. They have had 15 trainers. They have had 100 days of training. They have done 3 training manuals. They have training modules. They have 294 presentations. They have 400 expert training. They have 48 reports. These are available. And these are the resources you can tap into as a network. Consideration for the network. As you all know, the network was created by WOW with partners, with a vision to mobilize resources, to make sure that your vision and your mission are not aware, we should know. Whenever we see something like this at continental level, the continent expect that the regional economic blocks are the ones that will implement it. So the network at the regional level can implement this roadmap. We have few advice for the group, for the network. Effective governance is essential for harnessing demographic dividends. Government need to create comprehensive national policies that promote economic growth, inclusion, social development, and able to harvest demographic dividends. Here, one of the work that you can be doing and be championing is to be telling the government that policies should be created. Create your advocacies around this area to support economic growth. Regional cooperation can play a role in addressing the challenges and opportunities of demographic dividends. ECOWAS countries can work together to improve education, healthcare, and job creation. Countries need to make concerted efforts to implement social and economic policies. The network can start working with the National Observatory on Demographic Dividends. The network should support one another. The network should look at what the other network in other countries are doing and borrow best practices. Compare your challenges. The network should feel free to work with other partners. There are other programs and projects in WAO that you can work with and you can solicit support from. SWEG is just one of it. We have partnership with UNFPA WICAO. You can tap into these resources. In conclusion, by addressing the challenges and prospects, ECOWAS countries can turn their young population into an engine of economic growth and development. The National Advocacy Champion for adequate health financing and demographic dividends at national and regional level have their work cut out for them. Every area that there are challenges is a virgin area. Make use of the tools available. Make use of the ECOWAS Vision 2050. Make use of the AU roadmap. Make use of the National Demographic Dividend Observatory, the Regional Dividend Observatory. WAO is poised to continue performing its regional duties alongside other partners and governments. I wish to thank you for your kind attention. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigado.
Merci, madame. Je vais vous demander d'applaudir une fois encore, madame la responsable. Merci, madame. À présent, nous allons passer aux questions. Pour tous ceux qui voudraient poser des questions de compréhension, nous allons ouvrir une première liste de 5 personnes. C'est l'idée. C'est quoi d'Ivoire? Adama, c'est l'idée. Ok. Ensuite, Burkina. Le Burkina. Ensuite, bon, nous allons partir à ça. Attention, il y a la Guinée. Il y a madame. Bien, je pense que nous sommes à 4, on peut commencer. Je vais donner la parole à monsieur Adama Sidibé de Côte d'Ivoire.
Merci, monsieur le directeur. Je voudrais très sincèrement féliciter madame l'intervenant pour sa brillante contribution, sa brillante présentation. Alors, je voudrais, pour une meilleure compréhension, lui poser deux questions. La première, c'est que dans son développement, il a été constaté que dans le cadre de la CEDEAO, seul le Ghana et le Cap-Vert avaient atteint un niveau acceptable dans l'indice de développement humain. Pourtant, il a été soulevé par ailleurs que nos États ont fait des progrès au niveau du taux de pauvreté. Alors, je voudrais comprendre, je voudrais qu'elle puisse nous dire quels sont les leviers sur lesquels les États qui sont en retard devraient prendre comme défi pour améliorer leur indice de développement humain et profiter ainsi du dividende démographique. La deuxième question, c'est de savoir l'impact. Est-ce qu'on a pu mesurer l'impact du projet SWEG dans l'amélioration du dividende démographique, étant entendu que beaucoup de nos États, selon la plupart, ont des organisations qui s'occupent de la population. Et ces agences-là, ces offices-là travaillent, je pense, dans le cadre du projet SWEG. Donc, je voudrais savoir si on a pu mesurer depuis sa mise en place l'impact du projet SWEG et qu'est-ce qu'on a pu constater éventuellement comme amélioration. Je vous remercie.
Merci. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On répond au fur et à mesure, on prend toutes les questions.
Oui, ça dépend de vous.
Madame, on prend toutes les questions
Oui,
d'abord.
on prend toutes les questions.
Ok, d'accord. Alors, on donne la parole au représentant du Burkina Faso.
Merci. Je vais remercier madame pour la qualité de la présentation. C'est vrai, madame a pris le soin de nous avertir qu'elle n'est pas démographe. Bon, on a constaté une maîtrise du sujet. L'éclairage qui a été donné, à savoir que souvent cette notion de dividende n'est pas très bien perçue par. On croit connaître souvent alors que ce n'est pas le cas. Mais avec votre intervention, on a vu encore, ça peut être des rappels pour certains. Voilà, on voit que ce n'est pas une question seulement de planification familiale. Et ceci m'amène à me poser la question. Peut-être que nous n'évoluons pas comme on le veut aussi parce que nos politiques publiques, nos politiques économiques ne sont pas si efficaces, aussi bien en matière sur le plan social, économique. Voilà, souvent la mise en œuvre de ces politiques ne nous permet pas de faire les bons attendus. Il ne suffit pas de mettre des ressources en œuvre pour la réalisation des politiques, il faut veiller à l'efficacité de ces politiques. Et je me pose la question aussi, vu l'importance du sujet, nous voyons que ici, lors de nos rencontres, on n'a pas, il y a beaucoup d'absents, des absents importants en termes de population. Quand on va au Nigeria, que fait le Nigeria? Pour ça, le Nigeria, on voit qu'il y a une grosse part de la population qui se font de rendre compte de ce qui est fait. Le Nigeria se fait bouger quelque chose.
L'allocation, l'investissement en termes de ressources et la population humaine. Je disais que cela est avantageux pour l'Afrique, mais en plus il y a des conséquences. Ces conséquences qui font qu'on a la population jeune. Si on n'investit pas, ça pourrait être des conséquences qui ont des avantages qui vont se retourner contre l'Afrique, notamment le sous-région. Et il y a une vision. Je voudrais savoir, est-ce que les régions qui sont dans nos pays sont l'instrument de mise en œuvre de cette vision, ou bien la vision elle-même est partagée avec l'ensemble des gouvernements, avec les gouvernements respectifs dans le pays, comme le ministère des Plans, pour l'atteinte de cette vision. Merci. Et si cela est le cas, quelle va être la relation entre le réseau et ces ministères des Plans dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre de la vision 2025 qui stipule la mise en œuvre des acquis de la dividende démographique. Et aussi la transition démographique dont vous avez fait référence. La transition démographique en Afrique s'est accélérée. Mais cette accélération est-elle la dividende démographique est-elle une des conséquences ou un des résultats de cette transition démographique? Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Docteur, vous avez la parole.
Merci beaucoup. Moi, je voulais féliciter Madame pour son dynamisme. Mais quand on entend parler, elle est déterminée et elle a à cœur de ce que beaucoup de choses soient une réalité en Afrique, pour que nos populations soient des populations heureuses, elles aussi. Ce que je voudrais lui demander, c'est de ne plus nous abandonner en tant que réseau et de nous aider à éclaircir certains thèmes, parce que les thèmes sont complexes et parfois on n'a pas toujours le courage d'aller dans les définitions les plus simples pour disséquer les thèmes. Les thèmes restent complexes et parfois nous faisons des discours autour alors que nous ne touchons pas le noyau de ces thèmes-là. Nous voulons qu'elles puissent nous aider à ouvrir ces thèmes-là, à mieux les comprendre pour que cela soit beaucoup plus clair. Et dans son intervention, elle a parlé de la jeunesse. Effectivement, le problème de la jeunesse est une réalité de tout que lui cette jeunesse. Cette jeunesse en Afrique est tourmentée. Et moi, je vais poser la question de savoir quelle stratégie devons-nous mettre en place en tant que réseau pour prendre toute notre part dans le règlement de cette situation que vit la jeunesse et toute la population en Afrique. La deuxième question, c'est de savoir, quand elle parle de population, elle nous parle du projet SUEC qui parle de l'autonomisation de la femme. La femme fait partie de la population. Mais c'est cette partie de la population qui est la plus vulnérable. Alors, en tant que réseau, puisque nous sommes parlons de population, et que la femme aussi fait partie de la population, qu'est-ce qu'elle peut nous donner comme stratégie? Qu'est-ce qu'elle peut nous donner comme conseil pour que nous puissions également agir dans la réalisation du bien-être de la femme et en tant qu'être faisant partie de la population? Je vous remercie.
Merci, docteur. Bien. On va prendre une dernière question, la cinquième. C'est la Gambie. Oui. Gambie.
Thank you very much, Madam, for this insightful information. I'm really happy to see this kind of information. And I agree with you that our young generation can be an opportunity for the future. But I'm still worried. One is this what we call brain drain. The most powerful countries are tapping our intellectuals to work for them in Europe. We are also seeing the young ones moving into Europe, meaning our young population are moving. And also, the third one is the coming of the international artificial intelligence, which may come into labor market. So these three factors, to me, are worrying. So I don't know what is the position of Africa, particularly ECOWAS, to address these worrying factors that we are seeing. The movement of young ones to Europe, the tapping of expertise to work for Europeans, and also the coming of the artificial intelligence, which may also come into labor market. So these are worrying to me. So I don't know what is the position. What are we preparing for our future? Thank you.
Merci. Bien, madame, on a fait le tour des 5 questions. Monsieur Sidibé a dit que parmi les pays qui ont atteint le bilan démographique, vous avez cité le Ghana. Alors il a voulu savoir quels sont les leviers sur lesquels doivent s'appuyer les autres pays pour atteindre le bilan démographique. Et quel est l'impact du projet SWEL dans l'amélioration du bilan démographique? Oui, l'indice de développement humain, c'est ça. Oui, oui.
D'accord. Merci beaucoup pour l'intérêt et les questions. I will speak in English again. So thank you very much for the questions and the interest that you have shown. It shows that everybody was listening, and that is what we want. A lot of the questions that I can hear, they are not only for me to answer in this place. They are for all of us. And I'm going to explain. They are for all of us. They are supposed to be put on our table. And as experts and think tanks, advocacy champions, we are the one that can provide these answers. But I will just try a little to give my perspective. And that's why if there are other perspectives in the house, in the room as well, that people can give, we appreciate it. We can learn from one another. First of all, the question of Mr. CBD regarding Human Development Index. The World Bank and other organizations, they have certain indicators that they collect from countries. When they come to our countries, we don't know why they are asking those questions. oh, give us how many people ate food yesterday. They will come to your country, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Population. They will collect all those information. They have the indicators in their offices that will determine those measurements. For Health Development Index and Health Capital, Human Capital Index, I did not do the research, but from what I read, they used in certain indices in education, they use certain indices in health, and they combine it and they form the Human Capital Index. There are indicators that you and I, we have in the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and so on and so forth. And I will give example, they gave example of Cape Verde and Ghana. And I will tell you a little, my colleague as well can tell you a little, because when you are in ECOWAS, you can see certain things in all the countries. I will give you just an example. In Ghana, to ensure universal health coverage, they are taxing sugar when you go to take beer in their country. When you pay for your beer, you will see in that receipt they give you, they will say tax COVID. Am I correct? They tax beer, they tax sugar, so that they can have insurance to pay for people that are poor in their countries. Let me ask us a question. How many countries, amidst our countries, have that same policy? I just want to give an example. So you will see the reason why Ghana, we have better indices on health than some of us. I want to give another example, Cape Verde. My colleague is a monitoring and evaluation, so they monitor the things. When you look at the indicators for Cape Verde, most of the time, they usually say that their indicators does not resemble a country in Africa. Their indicators are reflecting countries that look like developed countries. If you look at malaria elimination, they have arrived. If you look at that, they have arrived. They have reached their goals. That type of country will have a higher development and higher human capital index than other countries. Maternal mortality ratio in Cape Verde is very good. There is very, very low. I can't remember the figures offhand, but it is very taken care of. So this is the reason why we have some countries having better human index than the other. Now the question now comes back to us as network. What can we do? What policy can we push? I was listening to Ghana. I am the representative from Ghana. We were talking. And he was explaining to me why their own network work. And I told him, I said, why don't you share this information with the other network? Their own network, just like what Dr. Sahi said that happens in Benin, is an NGO, a separate NGO, recognized by the government. It has 350 NGOs, all the NGOs in Ghana. There's a coalition. So when you are talking about network, it's not just network for adequate financial and demographic. He is sitting on top of the whole network of NGOs in the whole of Ghana. So it's robust, it's big. And Parliament, the head of Parliament, those that are in the ministry, is not the head of that network. he was also telling me that their government, the custom, want to be charging duties on global fund products. And he walked up to the minister and told the minister, if you do not do something about it and release the containers of goods, we are going to go on a demonstration. Does our network in other countries, does it have the same force that can move and shake a government? Those are the questions we should ask. That's why I said that the questions you are asking, I will answer small, but I think a lot of us, we have to look at it together and say, how can we help ourselves? The impact of SWEG on demographic dividend. The impact has not been measured yet. But I can tell you what progress has been done in terms of inputs. SWEG invested, the country's SWEG project has 2 levels, regional level and national level. Regional level, World Bank gave the money, is a grant. At country level, countries borrowed the money, is credit. So countries have been advised to create a demographic office, demographic dividend office, where they supply a lot of equipment, computers, database, these, so many equipment. They even recruited people, and they call them National Observatory Demographic Dividend. It is the fund of SWEG from the credit that country borrowed that they put in that initiative. And so countries now, the first step is that countries have to know the profile, their demographic profile. Before SWEG, countries could not know their demographic profile. How many young people do we have? What are their age brackets? What are this? What are that? How many households can eat? How many households are living below the poverty level? These profiles are now being provided by this demographic dividend. They are in your country. If you go to all the countries of SWEG, has the SWEG office. If you go there and go and ask them, they will take you directly. We still had a meeting recently of the national of the regional steering committee, where the demographic dividend observatories were queried. Why are they providing results that we can start measuring? And it was there they were telling us, okay, there's this challenge, there's this, solution was provided. So in your countries, particularly SWEG countries, we have Benin, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Ghana, Mali, Niger, Senegal. Those are new countries. Togo, they are new countries. There are about 9 ECOWAS countries. Mauritania, Chad, and Cameroon. They are the ones from Central Africa. All of these countries, apart from the new ones, they are having a national demographic dividend. So they can look at, they are providing profiles. So the impact of demographic dividends will not show yet, because it takes like about 10 years before we start seeing a difference in demographic dividends. But at least let the country have the profile, let the country have the information, let the country have the system in place that whenever there is a change, they can start measuring. So I can't say categorically that there is an impact yet, but there are systems that have been put in place to ensure that the demographic dividend is measured and all interventions are marching towards ensuring that that is a reality.